My father, as well as Mr. Thompson and others, didn't just talk about doing things, he did them. Literally by the force of personality, felt that he could make things happen, and that would be probably a fair description of the creation and construction and realization of the Harbert Center. My father, who had been president of the Rotary Club, he loved Rotary. And I think he loved his period as president of Rotary, and I think he just felt that it needed to have a permanent, organized, finer venue to meet in.
My dad and John Harbert were best friends. It was natural that when this place became an idea, that he would include my father. He wanted our clubs to have significance in the community, and so he thought the investment in the Harbert Center was a wise one. We were in Rotary one day, and Mr. Tom Bradford stood up, really without a whole lot of fanfare, and says, "I'm going to pledge $25,000 to the Harbert Center." And all of a sudden, then another gentleman stood up, and then Bill French stood up, and then Billy Rushton stood up, and it looked like a church revival. It scared every one of us in the room. I think they'd staged it.
This building was a parking lot. We kept talking about that building. That's the one we chose. It would have to come down, and that was the space. There was a meeting called by John Harbert. We knew about some of the cost. It's going to cost a lot. We got to get this cost down. All of a sudden, the door flew open, and Harbert came in, and he says, "Okay, what are we going to do here?" And somebody mentioned up, "Well, we've got marble in the restrooms." He said, "Well, of course we've got marble in the restrooms. What do you want, plastic?" He said, "We can't have this sort of stuff here. We're #1 community right here. This is the #1 building. We've got to put it up. We want it right. We want the best. We are the best." He and Paul Thompson wanted the very best of anything done, and I think we got it.
The first meeting in the facility was held in June of 1986. The speaker was Boone Pickens, a friend of John Harbert's. It was a wonderful event. The place was jammed, and it was just so heartwarming to finally see a permanent home for these great clubs.
Part of the beauty of coming together to show all of these civic organizations, hey, we're one community. Even though you might belong to this civic group or I belong to that civic group, we're still one community. And by bringing everyone together under that one community banner, we were able to then begin the dialogue as to what we all can do to help make our community stronger.
If I invite someone to join me with my club meeting at the Harbert Center, I know the food is consistently good, the service is good, the location is good, it's convenient for me, it's convenient for many of our club members. Many walk from their offices downtown. Others that do drive in, like I do, have convenient parking across the street. So it's secure, it's accessible, all of the things that are important to me as far as making my guests feel comfortable, almost like they are a guest in my own home.
I was lucky enough to be a part of the Harbert Operating Center Board for the past 6 or 7 years. And in that role, there are a couple of representatives from Kiwanis, Rotary, Monday Morning Quarterback. And what we do is oversee the financials and the operation of the building. I was amazed at the amount of effort that staff puts into making every single event special, and everything is just done top-notch.
Over the years, we've had the great pleasure of serving governors, basketball coaches, football coaches, every state senator without a doubt, and just a variety of dignitaries. I remember when Desmond Tutu came to speak, and he was at the podium. He was talking to everyone as they were setting up, and the lights went out in the room, and it was dark. And after a pause, Desmond Tutu said, "Let there be light." And somebody plugged the lights in, and they all came on, and the whole place just broke up. It was crazy.
The speakers, the fun of the club, the camaraderie, that's all great. But the thing that holds it together and makes you realize it has a true purpose is the fundraising which we do for other people, for other organizations, for needy individuals.
Phil Sims, a great quarterback for the Giants, came in, and when he learned of the amount of money we gave away, he tore his $10,000 honorarium up. Bobby Knight did it, Archie Manning did it, and so our speakers have come in and actually captured the spirit.
This community has a very long history of strong civic clubs, but I think the reason we've been able to sustain that at a time when so many communities are struggling has been the existence of the Harbert Center. And I think it's allowed us to maintain an identity and a presence and a sense of belonging to those clubs. It's given us our own place.
Every time I walk into the Harbert Center for any function, I feel like I'm helping the community by just being there. And I think our members feel that way too. And we have a sense of pride going into that building. There's not another one like it in the country.
The building is a timeless masterpiece. It's just an extraordinary building. And I'm so proud every time we bring some big-time speaker or big-time business person to Birmingham. It gives such a positive image to our city.
I feel the same way a whole lot of people feel that it belongs to me. It's my building, and there's no other place in this city that I think feels that way.
The building stands up to say welcome. The whole environment inside just wraps you around. Taking care of a building keeps it on top, but you've got to take care of it.
As we're looking forward to the next wave of civic leaders and attracting them to the Harbert Center, we want to keep relevant with our building's aesthetics, our building's audiovisual and technical needs, and to provide them again with the resources that they're going to need. With regards to the capital campaign, we are looking to begin the upgrades on our Wi-Fi structure, upgrades to the wireless microphone systems, enhance the electrical components of the Harbert Center, maintain the existing systems like the elevator, the escalator, the building's appearance itself, and then certainly to upgrade the furnishings and the overall aesthetics of the Harbert Center. We certainly do business events Monday through Friday from 8 until 5. A lot of our club members are surprised to know that we're open after 3 p.m. and certainly nights and weekends as we cater to Birmingham City Schools for their proms. I myself attended my high school prom at the Harbert Center and returned there some years later for my wedding reception. We do host some of the best wedding receptions in town.
It hardly seems at this point that the Harbert Center has been open 25 years. It seems like 1986 was almost yesterday, but the Harbert Center has retained its functionality, and that is to be the host building for all the civic clubs in Birmingham.
If these walls could talk, probably what they'd say is, we have seen so many people come through these doors who care not only about Birmingham, but who care about the state of Alabama. There's so many new leaders who are in Birmingham today, and they learn from the legacy of the leaders who are moving into the next generation, and it's just been terrific.
The voices you would hear coming from those walls would be dialogues down through the years of why can't we, why don't we, why haven't we, to now let's do it.
My dad wanted the members of every club to not only come to lunch and have the camaraderie and have the knowledge of the speaker, but he wanted them to do charitable outreach. He truly felt, until he died, that everybody could do more in Birmingham for charity.
My father felt a tremendous desire to give back to the community and to Birmingham. I don't think that you inherit that quality. I think that it is a learned response. I did learn from my father that one should give back, one should be charitable. I hope I'm teaching that to my own children.